What is up guys, welcome back to TUGGtv. This is a channel where we do all things metal and all things guitar. First time over here, give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button along with the bell icon for more updates from us. Now a lot of you have been asking us about our guitar collection, so we decided why not. This video is one of two parts where we are going to go ahead and show you and talk about our guitars. This one is going to be focused predominantly around my guitars, and then we're going to have another video where Vishesh is going to show off his guitars, which is a lot more guitars than I have. Also, I'm not going to be getting into a lot of details because all the guitars that I have, I've done reviews on, and that has the details that you might be looking for. It's going to be linked in the description, or with each guitar video, portion, I'm going to link the cards up here. The order that I'm going to be following is more or less chronological in terms of ownership. So yeah, let's get into it. Alright guys, this is numero uno, the ESP LTD Alexi 200. I wouldn't say this is my first guitar. My first guitar was a, Gibson acoustic. I don't even know the model. Yes, I said Gibson, not Gibson. I don't have a card for Gibson. And that was followed by a Gibson Bluebird electric. This we could say was my first premium guitar, because I paid a premium for this. Bought it in 2009. At the time I paid 29,000 rupees for this, plus 3,000 rupees on a hard case, which eventually I popped off because I don't need it. It's still in production. This is Alexi Lyo's signature model. It'll be available for around about 55,000 rupees. Now I hold this guitar very close to my heart. It has a very, very special place for me because it sort of reminds me of my journey as a musician. Because when I started off, there's a lot of things I didn't know about guitars. I sort of just went on the flashy aspect. Yes, I am a fan and have been for quite some time, of the flying V shapes. And I originally wanted to go in for a Jackson. I couldn't do that because it was partially, problems around availability and, money. By the way, if any of you feel like, sending me a guitar, what I liked about it, firstly, was the sheer presence of this thing. I mean, look at it. It has mad presence every time I've taken it on stage, when I used to play with my band. And I also like the playability and the neck profile on this. I mean, it is Alexi Lyo's guitar. It's got great shredding abilities. But not just that, if you're someone who likes to riff around, no problem at all. This thing cuts both ways. Also, the reason why this is very close to me is because if I had to buy a Flying V today, I actually might not have considered this, as a result of which I would never know how great this guitar actually is. Because of lately, over a period of time, as my style evolved, I preferred playing my solos on a neck pickup, which this doesn't have. And also, I realized that Floyd Rose isn't my jam. Like, I have nothing against Floyd Rose bridges, but I don't use them as much. So if I had to buy something today, I would have probably gone with just a hardtail. Plenty of upgrades done on this. What you can see is the pickup, EMG 81, some fancy knob. The entire bridge itself was replaced because the stock one was giving me trouble. What you cannot see is that there is a brass block inside of this and this sticker. So for those of you who don't know, I write for a webzine called Metal Vani, and I was doing a review quite some time back for this band called Rosh. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. And he liked my review, sent me the sticker. This is actually a V, not an A. And the reason you see this here is because I did something rather stupid. I was changing the strings and I took an Allen key and I stuck it there. God, I'm an idiot. Anyway, I did that, and then, every time I think about that, I feel like hating myself. So yeah, to cover that up, I put this sticker, and then I realized it's pentagrammy, so it looks cool and metal. And the V kind of looked like an A. So yeah, got the job done. Next up is my numero dos. Why am I speaking in Spanish? I don't even know Spanish. This is my bass guitar. So for those of you who don't know about my playing styles, I am essentially a riffer who also happens to play bass. Cort Action V5 Plus. Yeah, that's what this model is. Available, at least when I bought it, it was around 15,000 rupees. Probably still around that price. Great bass, very ergonomic, easy to play. And the highlight point for this was an active EQ. The reason I use that is because along with the metal that I play, I also like doing other styles, and having an active EQ allows you to dial the treble and bass the way you want and gives you a lot more versatility in terms of cutting across multiple genres. Now the reason I have a 5-string bass is because I originally started off with a Pluto 4-string, but back in the day we used to play for our little band, me and Vishesh, called Counterplot Theory. We didn't have a bass guitarist, so we had this one bass guitar which we were sort of shuttling, between ourselves. And that was an Ibanez GSR 205, which was a 5-string, and sort of got comfortable with that and decided to stick with this. Also from a bass perspective, having the extended range, kind of cool. I feel like you lose nothing. If you are one of those, oh my god, bass is supposed to have only 4 strings, and also if you're one of those, oh, you cannot play bass with a pick, deal with it. In terms of upgrades, I have changed the bridge. So this is a Wilkinson bridge that I got a while back, brass saddles. The reason I did that was because this bridge had a little more spacing, and now that I play slightly better with fingers, having that extra space kind of felt comfortable. It does make this go a little close to the edges as you come down the neck over here, but then I don't really play there, so it's not a deal breaker for me. I also changed the tuners because the stock ones kind of became troublesome, so these are also some local brand, gets the job done. Alright, next up is my extended range guitar. This is the Jackson JS227. Not going to spend a lot of time on this because I've done 2 videos. One was the original review and one was a very recent 2-year ownership review. Now when it comes to extended range, personally for me, I think 7 strings, at least right now, is a hard stop. Not because I have an issue with 8-string guitars, it's just that I feel I don't do justice to having 8 strings. So the main point that kind of got me towards this was the compound fretboard. So it's nice and chunky up top, and as you go down, as you move up the frets, it gets, nice and flatter. In terms of upgrades, Seymour Duncan Black Winters, amazing pickups, very hot, very dynamic, and if you don't get your EQing right, very difficult to make them behave. I did some push-pulls, hip shot bridge and hip shot locking tuners. Keep in mind the stock tuners on this will give way in about 2 years of time, so that's definitely an upgrade you should plan. And if you're planning an upgrade and if you can afford it, go for locking tuners, they're amazing. Next up, the Samick Bennett Avion 6. Now this is sort of an accidental discovery because I picked it up used. I picked it up for a song. I picked it up under 10 grand, way under 10 grand. And it had a lot of, issues. There were some dents and problems, even with the electronics and all of that. So I wasn't expecting a lot out of this guitar. It sort of started off as a project. Once I got this thing running, I gave it to Vishnu, linked in the description. Amazing guy, helped me change the electronics, change the bridge, and help me with the woodwork and all of that. Boy, this thing turned out to be an amazing guitar. Little did I know that the Gibson scale works perfectly for me. And I mean, of course, I have always been a fan of the Les Paul styles, and like I said, no card for Gibson, so I don't remember what it was. I'll link it in the description. But the stock pickups in itself are perfectly good. They've got a nice sweet warm tone, and the neck pickup on this, man, it sounds very close to a Gibson. Now of course, tone is a very personal thing. You might probably want to swap it out if you want something hot and dynamic, because these aren't the hottest pickups. And in terms of playing metal, yeah, you can get it to work. You can push sound out using like a screamer, dialing the amp up, the gain and all of that stuff. Will it work? Answer is yes, but you're kind of pushing this guitar against its will. Final thing, all I can say about this guitar is this guitar was simply too good to be around. Probably why it's discontinued. And lastly, this is my acoustic guitar, newest kid on the block, you can say. A Yamaha FGX800c, C because it's got a cutout. I had a Cort AD880ce before this. Good guitar, but when it comes to quality and finish, great playability, great warm tone, full tone, and the System 66 pickup, pretty decent. It's not like groundbreaking or any of that, but I like the AMF feature that it has. I've spoken about this in detail in the review, so you could go through that. With that, I come to the end of this video. Those were my guitars. What do you think about them? Let me know in the comments below. Until Vishesh makes his video, because he has way more guitars than I do, give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button along with the bell icon. And this is TUGGtv signing off. I will see you in the next one. And until then,